Hello, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. What's up, party people? What's up? What's up, eh? I don't know. Sherry baby, Sherry is number one. Hi, Sherry. How's things going? It's the beginning of a new weekend. Good morning, Darren. Hello, Carol. Carol's cookies. She has cookie for you. Cookie, cookie, cookie. Yay! Sherry's happy. And hello, Dave. You're like, and hello, Darren.
Hello, Deej. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Anything exciting happening in your part of the world?
Other than it being cold, and that's exciting if you're not wearing enough clothing.
True, true.
That's about it. I was going to start working on a video here, but then you popped up. And
well, I had to pop up to give the alternative to other things, so, there's that.
Gotcha. Alrighty.
Rock Solid Productions is peeking in.
Huh.
Oh, beginning of another weekend, and we just have all the crap news, so we're gonna try to avoid that. I won't start ranting today.
Okay.
We'll try to think of something happy to talk about.
Well, let's see. We don't have very much longer to deal with Jodie Whittaker. That's
true. That is true.
That last episode of Boba Fett was pretty awesome.
Rock Solid tries to bet that I don't have my notifications turned on, even if it says if you don't have your alerts on, you're fired.
Warcraft is coming to mobile now, officially announced by Blizzard. What else is going on here?
Well, since Rock Solid did send in $1, I have to play him a super chat, but since it's only $1, he's getting the short one.
Oh, get the hell out of here. Go on, you go on, get the hell out of here.
I did have my notifications on that time. And he brings up a point. You mean the last episode of The Mandalorian Oshaka?
Yeah. I think that I think the Book of Boba Fett is intended to just be at this point, just a general expansion of the whole Mandalorian universe. At this point, I mean,
that or just filler.
Yeah, people are anxiously awaiting the big decision that Grogu has to make in this, because that will also determine potentially whether or not the Kathleen Kennedy films are going to be considered canon going forward.
Rock solid. Boba Fett did have a cameo in the book. Boba Fett's last episode. He was in there for a whole 30 seconds, sitting at the table.
Yeah.
Most people just missed him because he had his helmet off. I already know they're already going to have Grogu choose the armor. He's going to go back to the Mandalorian.
Oh. You think so?
They already hinted that Grogu would be back in season 3 of The Mandalorian.
Well, that doesn't necessarily mean he's going to be with Mandalorian. He could be with what's her face? Osaka, or whatever her name is.
Kronos pops in saying first. I'm sorry, Kronos. Sherry was first. You are sixth, though.
Who was first?
The lovely Sherry.
Oh,
was first.
Oh.
And then you were second.
I almost read that as the horny Sherry. I'm not certain why that is, but
I don't know either.
Sorry, Sherry. Sorry, Sherry.
Sherry, get the knives out. Stabby time. She's actually happy today, so that's a good thing. Yeah, I've actually caught up on the Book of Boba Fett, so I watched the episodes. At least the CGI for Luke was better this time than it was for.
That was outstanding. I was really impressed with that. There, you keep looking for where it glitches out. Where, like when somebody turns their head, But
I saw like 2 spots where it kind of glitched out when he's turned quickly, but other than that, it was fairly good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know somebody's going to yell at me not to give Disney props for that one, but it wasn't really Disney.
Yeah, they hired that YouTuber who did a redo of Luke's last appearance in Mando. They hired him, and you can really tell.
Well, Kronos, Mandalorian's not going to be over because it's coming back for another season.
Yeah. What they should do, in my opinion, is have his show on Disney Plus that sort of leads into a major motion picture starring him. And kind of like what they did with X-Files that one year, where the series, the season finale, happens, and then there's a movie in the summer that picks up where the season finale left off, and then fall, it comes back. I mean, nothing quite as crazy. We have a much more variable schedule you can have with Disney Plus, but still, I mean, it's almost like you could do it the way professional wrestling used to do it, or still does it, where the weekly show is just the build up to the next pay-per-view.
True, they could do that.
I mean, a Mandalorian Star Wars movie could actually put Star Wars back into films at this point.
As long as they stuck with the formula that they've been doing with Mandalorian.
Yeah, or they could just keep it as a Disney Plus series and try to use that to make Disney Plus grow, which I think is probably the reason why they're, the reason why they won't. But hey, Mr. Londo.
Hello, Mr. Londo.
What's up?
Just thought I'd give it a whirl and stream.
Oh, fun.
The alternative to the alternative. That's me.
Oh, oh yeah. Well, I've been binging The Witcher.
Oh.
I don't know what everybody's complaining about with season 2. Not as good as season 1, but it's good.
Roxolid said Boba Fett was supposed to be a movie until Solo tanked, and Kronos is looking for someone to hire to shovel some snow. And hail pop culture curator.
So, I don't see how they could have gotten a movie out of Boba Fett. They can't get a series out of it.
Yeah. It's unless this was. Yeah, who knows? I don't know.
See, this all Star Wars all the time. It's getting pretty damn dull.
Mm-hmm. See, I think that they should probably just kill Boba Fett at this point because Mandalorian is a much more compelling character that we got to know right away.
Yeah. I mean, if they wanted to start a Star Wars series, they should have started up where Return of the Jedi ended. Let Luke rebuild that order.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's been this long, but between the movies, and he's an old guy. He's got 5 or 6 trained Jedi, and they are going out looking for other, potential Jedis to send back to him. And you could have 3 or 4 young guys, maybe a lesbian or 2 in the group, and I mean,
a token.
Yeah, they could have. I mean, they could have checked all the boxes off.
Yeah.
And had a decent series.
Yeah, well.
Stop giving them ideas.
Hey, look. Okay. Trying to help you, ho. Okay.
By the way, that's Heaux, ho. That's a term of endearment.
Yeah.
Ho Wars. Coming to a theater near you.
But yeah, the scene where the armorer asks the 2 guys fighting, "Have you ever removed your helmet?" And Mando's like, "Oh shit."
Yeah, I did to this little green kid.
Well, no,
he didn't. Face and then everybody else was in the damn room.
Well, there was that, but it was also, the first time he did it in front of people was when he was with friggin' Bill Burr in that Imperial stronghold or whatever, because he had to take off his mask his helmet in order to interface the computer or something.
Yeah, but I thought that he shielded his face away so nobody could really see what it looked like.
No, he took it off. Bill Burr noticed that he had taken it off too, and was kind of taken aback that he would do that. But when it came time to say goodbye to Grogu, he definitely did. Now, what's interesting is they gave him a way to atone, but it sounds epic. He's got to go back to Mandalore, so I mean that's gonna be season 3 right there. Whenever he's done with this shit he's doing with Boba Fett, that he's gonna have to, be able to atone for the fact that he, let his face be seen.
Yeah, he's only doing it for Boba Fett to pay him back for the help that he gave him to save Grogu.
Yep. Yeah. That's why he said it was on the house. But the other thing that's interesting is I always thought the Naboo fighter was kind of cool, but now he's got this modified one that he's using, and I prefer the Razor Crest, but it's still pretty cool. I like that they kind of made it bare metal. They took all the yellow off of it.
I still never understood how all these little tiny ships could jump systems.
It's like a Corvette. I mean, it's like a one-seater, He's probably going to put Grogu in the little spot for the astromech droid.
Oh, that's why there was a little bubble on there. It looked like it could hold somebody in the back.
Yeah, well, that's where R2 used to be, in Phantom Menace. So that's probably where he's going to put Grogu, where he can't mess with anything. But
wait till he sees how Grogu can bounce around now.
Yeah. But the Naboo fighter is very much a Lucas type design, because because it's just like the X-wing. What the X-wing is, and is a World War I biplane flying backwards with its wings crisscrossed instead of parallel. And what the Naboo fighter is basically a 104 starfighter, F-104 starfighter, just flying backwards. It's not a precise thing, but that's how he Lucas does things. He takes things that are familiar and just kind of tweaks them a little bit or reverses them, and then you get an iconic ship or something like that. So him flying around in that little thing now is kind of interesting. Again, I prefer the Razor Crest just because he had a place to hang out in there, and he had a bathroom, and he had a place for his carbonite freezer and stuff like that. But
well, I kind of thought the whole line with Luke about the sentimental and all that shit was bullshit anyway, because Obi-Wan gave Luke Anakin's lightsaber. So that would be basically hanging on to something sentimental.
Well, it was a Jedi weapon, so and he used it to train in Star Wars. So but having a piece of Mandalorian armor, I don't know if that's bullshit or not. But clearly Grogu's been through a lot and needs to focus, and he's not able to because he keeps thinking about him. So
Yeah, the little look on Grogu's face as Mandalorian flew off. Like, he sensed that it was him there.
Yeah.
And that's right, Kronos. At least Roxala didn't type BGs, and he said GB.
California high school barricaded unmasked students in unheated school gym. Why would you need a heated gym in California? Well, I suppose at night.
Because it gets to 60 degrees, they think it's freezing.
When students in Oakdale, a city in California's Central Valley that identifies itself as the cowboy capital of the world, stood up to California's onerous student mask mandates this week and showed up to school mask-free, just as their governor did to the NFC Championship game in Los Angeles. The school district retaliated in a completely unconscionable and abusive manner by barricading students into an unheated high school gym and only relenting after law enforcement was called. That's interesting. Time to leave California, folks, if you haven't already.
I think it's kind of funny because the California Attorney General is going after BLM.
Yeah.
Well, they've got no other choice. People have been warning them about that group for, since all this hell broke loose.
I think the reason California is going after them is because they're not paying their taxes. They're hiding all the money trails.
Yeah, that's how they got.
Real estate is expensive. So, especially in Cali.
Apparently, BLM had to shut down all their online fundraising, too, over all this.
Well, I guess Soros will have to whip out his wallet.
Well, Soros already threw $125 million into his super PAC the other day.
I wonder how much of that is actually him or somebody else. This guy, he's like 90 years old. He can't be that all there.
No.
So Darius.
I'm just wondering if that's somebody else that's got keys to that's gotten the keys to that kingdom.
I don't know. I think the people in Illinois should be rising up here after finding out that Pritzker gave them $300,000 that was supposed to be COVID relief money.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, these damn Democrats in Chicago are too damn stupid.
Yeah, somebody will still vote Democrat because of that.
Well, Republican means white, don't you know?
Damn it, I identify as an attack helicopter. I'm not white.
Yeah. No, that's how they view it.
I love how CNN's going down the tubes now. Hello, Tiggy.
Oh.
I know that is hilarious.
Cuomo is getting his revenge for being canned.
Uh-huh. No, it's not Cuomo. That's supposedly just an internal investigation that's got most of this stuff happening.
Well,
yeah,
they've
but it was
offered.
all because of Cuomo, and
Yeah.
Cuomo has made the threats that he has information he's going to release.
Yeah, they're trying to negotiate with him now. They want to pay him $9 million to shut up.
But we knew it was all bullshit clear way back when they were pretending Cuomo was quarantined in his basement when he was running around getting in fights with dudes at the Hamptons.
Yeah.
Somebody called him Fredo. And then, of course, I also read in the news this morning that now GoFundMe is refunding all the money that was supposed to go to the Canadian truckers because they don't want the Canadian truckers to have any money to continue their protest.
Yeah. I think people should just stop using GoFundMe at this point.
They should stop using Facebook, too, because Facebook deleted groups that were trying to organize the same thing here for DC and called it a QAnon thing. So
yeah,
they're using that as the lie to be able to try to stop all this.
Yeah.
Big techs are fighting to stop the little man from getting ahead.
And meanwhile, Antifa, they can coordinate all of their efforts on Facebook.
Yep.
Hello, wise guys. Hello, Yitzy. They're running scared. They're all running scared now. You can tell the signs of a desperate person when they're trying to cover everybody up.
Mm-hmm. And then what do you got on Rantingly? You've got the big headline of this morning is Biden veers into worst president ever territory.
He's already been last February. I mean,
Buried. I know when he calls a Glock a weapon of war, he's not very bright.
Glock.
I'm certainly not going to go into battle with only a Glock.
Hell no.
That's not going to get me very far.
I'd rather have a show.
Yeah, because all you need to do is keep it out of the dirt.
And then Biden made the big stumble, said that nobody can buy a cannon. Yeah, you can go on to websites and buy a cannon anytime you want.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
He's completely senile.
See, I'd rather have a show because at least you can take the parts off it and make a still.
Well, now, see, you got to remember, okay, his mindset about this shit, this is the stuff you were hearing in the 80s.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Okay, the way he's trying to govern, that's the world they saw how it should have been run in the 1980s. And we're getting that now, and you see how fucked up it is.
Yeah.
How fucked up it would have been back. It would have been worse back then.
Yeah.
Hello, Decepticon.
Mm-hmm.
No, they're just desperate right now. They're all being desperate.
Then you got that bizarre little thing that happened where where they're accusing Russia of a false flag operation so they can invade Ukraine. You guys see that?
Well, I saw that, and I also saw that now they're blaming the whole trucker thing in Canada on Russia. It's Russian operatives starting a misinformation campaign.
Yeah, that's everything's Russia.
We listened to that for 4 years during Trump, and then it was proved that it was all fake, yet they're still using that playbook.
Because dumb fucks will believe it.
Well, I don't know how many dumb fucks are actually watching CNN anymore, because from what I seen on a video
All of them
last night, Tim Pool's getting more views in a day than CNN is.
Their top show gets 700,000 viewers.
Yeah.
So
you got to remember, all of the dumb fucks are watching CNN.
That's why they're so scared of Rogan, because Rogan gets 11 million views per episode.
Yeah, and the thing is, looking at the numbers of people watching CNN, we know how many dumb fucks there are in the country now.
Well, you can't quite say all those numbers are legit, though, because they pay places like hospitals.
Yeah. Rush Limbaugh used to get 20 to 24 million listeners on his show.
Mm-hmm.
He had a 3-hour show every day. So
I used to listen to him all the time when I was stuck out in the tractor.
Oh yeah.
But hell, they're just reeking of desperation now. I guess the airports aren't paying them anymore to play CNN, though. At least last I heard, CNN lost the airports.
Yeah. I think they had headline news for airports, didn't they? Do they even have headline news anymore?
Well, headline
it's
news
still
is
out
there,
there.
but
Okay.
it's still there, but I think it gets less viewers than the Cartoon Network.
Yeah.
I know episodes of SpongeBob has beaten some of the CNN primetime lineups.
Who is that guy that said that to Allison Cooper? Yeah, you're being beaten by cartoons. Victor Borga, I think was his name. Borga.
No, you're talking about what's his name? He was in the Trump administration.
Yeah.
Can't think of it. I see him the goatee and everything.
Yeah.
I see his face. Sebastian Gorka.
Okay, Sebastian Gorka. Yeah. Yeah, he was.
Victor Borga is a piano player.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah. Let's see.
Hell, I think Bob Ross gets more views than CNN.
And Bob Ross does have a Pluto channel. So.
You can sit there and go watch Bob paint all day long.
There's a happy little cloud.
Little clouds. Happy tree. That's right. That's right, Kronos. Happy tree. Yes, Kronos drinks lots of coffee. Usually with some whiskey dumped in it.
I found that clip. It's like you're being beaten by Wile E. Coyote. You're 13th in the ratings. Nick at Night is 11. It's like, I remember back when the problem you had with lefties was the only news program they would watch was The Daily Show.
That's not news.
I know, but it looks like a news. So, and then that they would much rather watch that, especially during the Bush years, than actual news, because the Daily Show made them feel better. It's kind of like how a lot of lefties in their mind didn't think that Bush was president. They wanted Martin Sheen, or as president, because he was in that show, The West Wing, and they loved that show.
Speaking of the Daily Show, though, it's kind of funny that Jon Stewart come out and is siding with Joe Rogan now.
So did The Rock, and I was kind of surprised by that.
Yeah.
Because Rock used to be somewhat conservative, but then he got indoctrinated.
No, he got paychecked.
He paychecked, paychecked.
Yeah. That's the indoctrination. He got, nice paychecks.
Yep. Doesn't have to.
Nice paycheck. I'll just say these Hollywood idiots say, and I should be fine.
Yeah.
No, but it did surprise me that Jon Stewart come out because
New York governor approves congressional map that could flip 3 seats to Democrats.
They changed all the districting to get rid of the Republicans.
Yep.
Oh, random. What about Whoopi having troubles with The View? Who gives a shit? It's what happens when you don't read a fucking history book.
And to be honest, as long as Joy Behar is still there, The View will be just fine.
It'll still be unwatchable.
Yeah.
It'll always be unwatchable. I love how...
I mean, if there was ever a woman I wanted to slap, it was Joy Behar.
I
would say
love
some of the damnedest things, especially if you're conservative. And I would just reach across and bow.
I love the fact when they're looking for the replacement for Meghan McCain. One of
they're not.
Prerequisites. Yeah, they are. One of the prerequisites, though, is it has to be a Republican that is for the January 6th committee.
See, that proves it right there. They are not looking for a conservative.
Nope, they're looking for a rhino like Cheney.
At best, yeah. I mean, they loved McCain until he decided to run for president. Yeah. And then got the nomination, and then as soon as that happened, boom. He was just as evil he was even worse than Bush at that point. Yeah. In the media's eyes. Yeah.
But we all knew that Whoopi'd get nothing but a slap on the wrist. This is basically a 2-week paid vacation.
And she can't even handle that. That's what's interesting. Now she's talking about leaving The View over this. It's like you could have been fired. Instead, they gave you a 2 weeks off, which I'm sure it's probably paid, Yeah,
it wasn't like they did to Roseanne.
No, they killed off
that was just
character. Yeah.
See,
Roseanne was too vocal for being for Trump, though. So
yeah, that's true.
But still, you know what? Something's telling me Whoopi's gonna get the axe anyway. It's just something about that,
Here's the other thing.
If she gets the axe, Joy's threatened to quit, so there is a positive there.
They don't care. Do you know how many left-wing hippies are just chomping at the bit to sit in that studio and bitch about Republicans?
Yeah.
They're lining up now. I mean, the resumes are coming in after Whoopi's job. Come on.
I think they'd like to get rid of them so then they can get rid of the overpaid loons and bring in some cheaper loons to spouse the same shit.
Here's the other thing with Whoopi kind of being in trouble right now. Have you noticed that that nobody's talking about Picard season 2? Because who is featured prominently in that trailer?
Guinan herself.
And then all of a sudden, not acting at all like Guinan, just acting like Whoopi. And
see, and that's another thing. Those scenes might hit the cutting room floor.
They might have to do some reshoots and put Quark in there or something. I don't know.
Picard never had Quark.
Well, I mean, what other bartender could it be? Well, what they'll do is they'll write it in that somewhere along the line, off camera, that Picard and Quark had met or some shit, or that they knew each other through Riker, or They could do
DS9.
that. Yeah, they could do that. So
He made multiple stopovers that we didn't know about at DS9, and he got to know Quark.
And he always had his favorite Double girl waiting on him.
Or they could bring Wesley back.
Shh, I don't want to see him.
Nobody likes Wesley. Okay?
Nobody likes Wesley. No. Or maybe instead of Guinan, they put Lita in there. Like she's got her own place.
Well, now that I might actually have to watch if they brought Lita back.
Yeah.
Even now, as an older woman, she looks pretty damn good.
Yep. I'd buy that for $1.
Yeah. Well, she was going to have her own cafe on Jupiter Station briefly, and so that could be where they go. Who knows? But the thing is, Picard goes to Guinan because Guinan has the ability to see alternate timelines. They established that in yesterday's Enterprise. So, that's why Picard actually he doesn't go to her because she's a bartender. So they probably have to. They probably just delete those scenes entirely, or just have him correspond with her. Who knows? But
hello, I love food.
Yeah. I'm still thinking, pretty soon she's going to be persona non grata for longer than 2 weeks.
Well, we got about a week and a half to find out now.
And they may be just floating the she's thinking about quitting thing because they're thinking about firing her.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta remember, we're dealing with Hollywood with this shit. They know how to hype.
Well, I love the spin that they tried to pull, that it was a learning moment for her, and she learned, even though the same very night she was on Colbert, spewing the same bullshit.
I mean, look, she is old enough, okay, that if she went to high school, here was the thing. When I was in high school, it was amazing. At the time in history, we were studying the Second World War. A literature teacher pulled out the diary of Anne Frank, and before you knew it, we had guests, actual Holocaust survivors, that would come in and talk to us. Okay, all of this, around at the same time. So she I think she's a little bit older than me. She should have had the same exposure.
Yeah.
And
hello, Bird.
Come on. I'm like, when I heard that, I'm like, where the hell did she come up with that? It was not race. Do you remember these people calling themselves the master race, you dumb broad?
Mm-hmm.
And them saying they had to eliminate the inferior races.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nazis, they had kits that they would walk around, in conquered areas. They would, measure your skull, compare your eyes, and it was these damn kits. It had all these, examples of, and it would tell you how much degree of inferiority you were or were not.
Mm-hmm.
You should see one of these kits. It's a spooky ass thing.
They also didn't care too much for black folks either.
None at all.
Especially Jesse Owens.
I know Jesse pissed
exactly.
him off at the Olympics. I know he did.
Yep.
Oh, what are we talking about right now? Are we talking about the Olympics?
No. We were talking about Whoopi.
Oh, Whoopi. Well, as I constantly tell people, freedom of speech does not mean freedom of consequences from your speech. And the First Amendment applies to government, not private companies.
No, nobody's concerned for it.
We actually find it comical.
Yeah. So that was the dumbest thing anybody could say.
She is a comedian after all.
Well, she's been on the. I think what happened was, this is my theory on this whole fucking thing. Is the only way cancel culture is going to get stopped is when people like Whoopi Goldberg and their ilk get held to the same standards as everybody else they want to cancel. Because I guarantee you, Whoopi Goldberg would probably be all about canceling Joe Rogan right now. And here's the thing. I've never heard a goddamn thing by Joe Rogan at all. I don't know the guy. I don't know anything about his platform or what he does. I just know he's on Spotify. And I didn't even know that until fucking Twitter started saying, oh, this person's dropping off because of this. This person's dropping. And I'm kind of scratching my head. I'm like, are you fucking stupid? This is like when people canceled Hulu or Netflix or something, like one bad piece of content that you don't like and you want to cancel a service.
It's
okay,
not even bad content. What they're talking about, it's that alternative view about COVID. That's what it is. Actual people that have made that, they've done, work in virology, not theoretical bullshit. Actual physical hands-on work that know what's going on with that virus, and they are it. And their view is not what's that little Martian looking some bitch's name? It's not his. Their view is not his view. Fauci. Okay, that's what it is.
Yeah, hell, the one guy that they're slamming that was on Rogan holds 8 patents.
Yeah,
fucking genetics of this shit.
I've literally gone on there. I said, what did he say? There was misinformation. Oh, it was about COVID. Okay, what did he say? Oh, I don't know. What do you mean you don't know? So you're pissed off about a guy and you don't even know what he did that was misinformation? Is it possible it was alternative thought? Last time I checked, there was a time when science believed that the Earth was the center of the universe.
Mm-hmm.
Science grows, science evolves. Science shouldn't be political, but unfortunately in the last, oh God, Mr. Lundell, you're older than I am. You probably, has it been since the 60s or 70s, or has it been even longer than that?
For what? Because
this whole thing with science is like, I remember all through the 80s and 90s, global warming, global heating, the ice cap's going to melt. We're all going to freeze to death. And then they were like, oh shit, none of this work. We'll just say climate change.
Well, look, when I was elementary school, we used to get this newspaper for kids, the Weekly Reader. There were stories in there about being ice age coming up.
Yep, the coming ice age.
And
I remember that too.
Data for the ice age theory for this global warming bull crap. Okay, so please, it changed.
I remember one time watching something. I don't remember what I was watching, but this guy literally came on and said, the ice caps are going to get so heavy that the Earth is going to tilt on its side and cause catastrophic effects. And I was a young kid, and I was like, could this really happen? I had to go ask my parents, could this really happen? Could the Earth really fall on its side from being too heavy? As a young child, I don't know.
No, it can't do that. The only way the Earth would get even heavier is if something slammed into it. The mass on the Earth is fairly constant at this point.
Yeah. And here's the really screwed up thing. Even if the polar caps melt, it's not, it's called displacement. It's when you fill a glass with ice and then put water in there and let the ice melt. The glass will not overflow.
All the polar ice caps could melt and we would not have Waterworld.
Right.
Yeah, I didn't buy that one. But here's the thing. historical scientific shows that the continents used to all be connected, called Pangea. They say that's scientific. So, how did over billions of years our continents go the way they did?
Plate
Plate
tectonics.
tectonics.
Yeah, exactly.
Eventually, sometime in the future, they're all going to smack back in together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was wondering about how that would work. Next thing you know, before you know it, maybe in a billion years or so, or however long it takes, Alaska will be right now. Alaska, you'll be able to take a canoe over to Russia. That's how close they'll be.
Hell, you get a little
Chronos,
bit of an ice age, you can just drive a snowmobile over.
Yeah.
I like what Kronos said. College is a place to indoctrinate. I love Ben Shapiro's role. He goes, "You had to go to college to be this stupid."
That sounds so much like something he would say.
It is. Yeah, I know it does. Actually,
Well,
there's
that's
a
the
guy
problem
I
with-
really. There's a guy I've actually really been getting into. Two of them who talk politics: the liberal hive mind and black conservative.
Hello, bird.
Hello, world.
Kapla.
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 Well, I'm gonna be honest, guys. I am freaking tired because one, my truck is stuck 5 feet in a ditch right next to my house. Second, I had to go out and shovel. Well, we were supposed to get between 5 and 8 inches. I swear to God, it had to have been over a foot plus. And I had to clean out my driveway so we could get the van out. We tried to pull my truck out, but the van just ain't strong enough to do it. So I'm either going to have to get someone with a 4-wheeler or a buddy of mine or somebody else who's got a truck who has some horsepower.
Yeah, a winch would come in handy right now, wouldn't it?
Oh, yeah. Here's the thing. I have rope and I have cable, but it's not long enough to wrap around my big tree that I figure if I could wrap around it, I could, pull the vehicle out similar I've done before with other things. But unfortunately, I actually think I had rope long enough because I had 2 of them, but unfortunately one of them snapped during the summer and I didn't replace it, and that's on me. But on the plus side, it's not like anybody's going to be stealing my truck.
I'll take that dare.
Look, trying to get it out of the snow. It's pretty caked in there.
One little shovel, you could dig a path out of it and get it right on out.
Yeah, I'm going to do that tomorrow. Just today, I'm too goddamn tired. I spent
Just
an hour
wait till
and a
next
half
week.
out.
It's supposed to warm up next week.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just...
It's actually supposed to be in the 40s here next week.
Nice.
The ice storm is coming, Kronos.
How much snow you get, Bird? Did you guys get any up there in New York?
We got 13 inches, but it's mostly washed away now.
I started to say you couldn't even let Sassy out and that kind of thing. She'd be buried in the snow.
That'd actually be kind of funny.
Hey, on the plus side, I don't have to put my beer in the fridge. I just pack it in the snow and just leave it there and pick it up when I'm done, when I want one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Out here we just use the garage in the wintertime for extra.
Oh,
beer
yeah. It was
bits.
like, oh, yeah. I've had times where I've just picked up my beer and I've been like, I just leave it in the back of the truck. And I'm like, well, it's not cold then because in Indiana, you can only buy cold beer at a liquor store. You have to buy it warm otherwise. But I'm like, yeah, I put a couple of these back here. It's going to take me 15 minutes to get home. It's 14 degrees out. Something's going to be good. I put them out in the snow. Yeah, they'll be cold in about 10 more minutes.
So what difference does that make whether it's you buy it cold or warm?
I don't know. This is in
Some
Indiana.
states are just weird. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
the liquor laws all over the country are weird.
It's a logic thinking you won't drink a hot beer on your way home.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, we got blue laws here in Texas. You can't buy whiskey on Sundays. Or,
That's it.
wine and beer is fine, but hard spirits you can't buy on Sundays.
Mr. Lundell, in South Carolina, their blue law is literally the liquor store the liquor stores in South Carolina cannot sell beer. And they cannot sell anything else. They can't sell Coke for rum and Coke or anything like that. If you sell liquor, it has to be only liquor. The exception is if you had a store like the one we had where it was basically two different stores. One side was the beer, completely walled off. The other side was the liquor. You had to do two transactions to get them. And they have to be shut down by 7 p.m., which I thought was absolutely stupid.
Huh.
Hello, Gascar.
What's up, guys?
It's a weird Friday.
I come in and everybody's talking about licking her.
Yeah. She likes it.
Hey, beer is good, but liquor is quicker. It's also
it is.
more. It's also
Poker
more
in the
painful.
rear,
hangover.
liquor in the front.
How's
I saw a
everybody doing?
video. I saw a video of a guy who finally decided after 3 years of vaping to clean his computer, and all that vape sticky gunk was inside his computer, and he just about shorted it out.
Ugh.
Oh,
Yeah.
that must have been nasty.
Yeah, it had dust in it along with the vape. So it was really, really nasty stuff.
I went back to pens. The reason I went back to pens is because I had those big box fucking things. And the simple fact of the matter is, depending on the box you get, they can either be too strong. You got to really work with them. You got to figure out the proper wattage. You got to find a flavor you like. Half the time, the fucking things would leak. The glass would break. They were so goddamn heavy, you couldn't put them in your pocket. I was just like, fuck this shit. I'm going back to
Yeah, I thought he said he went back to Depends.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, they're more absorbent. Yeah.
Whatever keeps you fresh.
Yeah.
So what are you up to today, Gascar?
Just relaxing. Took the day off. Gather my thoughts.
Well, yeah.
Your
you
left
should-
hand or your right hand for that? I'm just kidding. That's a line from Stamp.
Actually, ambidextrous. I was always a switch hitter, so
Okay.
He was in trouble, at work. He got wrote up by
no, I didn't actually.
HR.
I didn't.
So-
I did not. They found it funny,
Yeah.
but not funny.
Twitter cracks me up. Anytime I make a comment, everybody wants to talk about Trump, and I'm like, what the fuck does Trump have to do with what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
It's because
Yeah,
And
had a
I'm
comment
kind of
on-
loving the fact that he still lives rent-free in their head, even after a year.
Listen, man, I made a comment on the convoy, and I got called a Nazi. So,
On a convoy in Canada?
yep. I just said not everybody in the
No.
convoy.
No,
could be a
we
racist.
got a great big convoy.
And I got
What
called a
convoy
Nazi.
do you think he was talking about? Getting called a
One that
Nazi.
started it all.
Isn't that fun, Guy Scar? Isn't that great?
Oh man, yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing.
Get used to it. Yeah.
It doesn't mean shit anymore. I mean, honestly, it really fucking doesn't. They've
they've
called us
overused it.
everything under the sun. I mean, I guarantee you, they'll call Mr. Lundell even worse things than they'll call us.
Yeah.
And Mr. Lundell's probably been called them.
Yes, I have.
I can think of a few things you've probably been called. The T word, the Uncle T word, which it equates to me. None of these idiots ever read Uncle Tom.
I know. I've been telling them you need to read that fucking book. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Well, that is the
Ignorance.
thing. That's. Oh, I'm sorry. But that's the thing. If you've read the book, you understand what Tom was trying to do.
Yeah.
Guy Scar, you sound really good today. Your mic is coming through nice and clear.
Oh, thanks. I did
No
some
issues.
tweaking.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
He's got
I'm
the
I'm sure.
That's,
I'm sure
voice
Mr. Lundell.
crap.
Oh, sorry.
That was
I didn't
bugging
mean
in
to interrupt.
yesterday. Oh, it's okay. I do that all the time, man. You're good.
Yeah, I try to avoid doing that. I don't mean to. I'm sure there's another one. I'm sure Mr. Lundell possibly has been called. I would assume they probably called you House.
Well, that's another one. They have no idea what the meaning of is.
This could be a good idea for a show. What were you ever called? Today's Mr. Lundell. Yeah, it's crazy. It's insane. It's just ignorance, man. What kills me is that a lot of people that were following me on Twitter, once you go against the narrative that they so believe in, that's it, man. You're blacklisted. They don't even question it. They just quickly, oh shit, you're on the other side now.
And the sad part is, once you destroy their narrative, they have no comeback. That's when the names come out.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen that. I mean, one really, really good example. Some years back, some hippie got into a debate with, of all people, G. Gordon Liddy. Okay, 5 minutes into the debate, Liddy hits him with subtle logic that he can't come back in with. The only thing he could do was talk about Nixon. Okay, that was the only thing he could bring up. totally off subject because he couldn't respond. It became about him working in the Nixon administration.
Yep.
I said something today or yesterday. I commented on something, and the person was like, "Oh, can you get it up after the 1/6 insurrection?" And what Trump did, I said, "What the fuck does this have to do with what I'm talking about?" I want to pull that scene from Star Wars: A New Hope. Stay on target. Stay on target.
Yeah.
I mean, I've had times where I've pivoted with people and I've been like, okay, you want to play this game? I'll play the pivot game. I'm better at it than you. I know fallacies. I know how to play that game too. Let's have some fun. But then, of course, every now and again, after a while, they get boring because they just can't keep up. It's really just, they start insulting you, questioning your patriotism, or questioning, in some cases, your privilege, or, do you not know your own history? It's like, yeah, I do. Do you? It's like I keep asking all these idiots who talk about Spotify. I'm like, Spotify has over 1 million fucking artists on there. And you're all bitching about one guy. And then, ironically, it's all the old fucking hippies who are leaving. It's the fucking baby boomers that are leaving. It's like, nobody cares. Sorry, Neil Young, nobody cares. Barbra Streisand, I can't name. I'll tell you what, right now, I can't name a single song by either one of them.
Beneath the Wind Beneath Her Wings.
No, that was Bette Midler.
Yeah,
that was Bette Midler. Right.
Yeah, not the
don't worry, Bette
snaz.
Midler will probably pull her shit from Spotify eventually.
Nobody's buying that anyway. Okay, the people that are on Spotify, they're doing like the Billie Eilishes and and crap like that.
The majority of people, I think, who are actually on Spotify, if I had to guess, are my daughter's age. My oldest daughter, 21, in their 20s, millennials, watching that, listening to that. Okay, I don't listen to Spotify because I have XM satellite radio. But that would be like me canceling XM because of channel 127 because it's the Progress channel. It's a bunch of nut job leftists on there spewing misinformation. But I still have the show. I still pay for it because I want to listen to the other
said is true.
Yeah.
Powerhead says it's true. 100%. 100%. They don't even own their own music because they sold it out.
Oh yeah, that's the thing. It's like they sold their music, and it's like, well, I want the people who own my music to do it. Well, they have a choice of whether they want to do that or not. You sold your shit,
Yeah.
and you got a big payday out of it, you little fucker.
Yeah, it's like, Michael Jackson doesn't. Michael Jackson's family doesn't even own his music. Sony does.
Yeah. Well, he used to own all the Beatles songs.
Yes, correct.
That's why you had.
Really?
You had he back in the 80s, he bought a whole bunch of classic Beatles songs, and that's when he started making real money. He'd like let Apple
actually
use for advertising.
He bought the entire Beatles songbook.
Yeah,
it came up. The Beatles lost it years earlier, and it came up to auction. And it was actually the bidding became down between him and Paul McCartney.
Yeah.
Well, the story from Paul is that he went and was talking to Michael about how he had the opportunity to buy it all back, and he was trying to get the capital together to do it. And then Michael Jackson did a run around on him.
No,
and
Michael Jackson just went.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's even dirtier than I thought it was.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that's why Paul McCartney wouldn't do any more music with Michael Jackson, because he was pissed off that Jackson did that to him.
Yeah. And then, so for example, when Nike comes out with their Revolution ad with the Beatles, you say you want a Revolution song, and then that was huge bank for Jackson.
Uh-huh.
That paid for that Ferris wheel at Neverland Ranch. That paid for the llama farm. And
Deej had a whack a troll.
Kronos already got it.
You said llama, and I just remember Winamp.
Yep.
Remember?
Still use Winamp.
Advertise it. Yeah. Winamp, kicking the llama's ass. I loved it every time you started.
It really whips the llama's ass. Yeah.
I like the. I saw somebody popped up on Twitter. I thought this was fun. He showed the end scene from like back in Family Ties and stuff, and it was the dog. And before I even read the caption, all I saw with the dog with the frisbee, the black lab with the frisbee, was sit. It was sit. Good dog. Yeah, and it's literally what he had. And I was just like, oh God, I remember this.
Now, speaking of llamas and Michael Jackson actually had a pet llama that he fed with a bottle and let it walk around his house and stuff. Well, eventually the llama got kind of mean, so Jackson sold it, and it was bought by a llama farm that was about 4 miles outside of the town that I lived in, and they had real problems with that animal. They ended up having to put it down because it couldn't exist with other llamas.
Right.
It would bite them. It would, and they had to pen it up by itself. And, it just, the novelty of owning Michael Jackson's llama was a pretty shitty one compared to how the animal treated everybody. So.
Who owns Neverland Ranch now? Does his family own it?
Well, he sold it. Let me take a look here at the Fountain of All Knowledge, Wikipedia.
I think all that had to be sold to clear up his debt.
Yeah. Let's see here.
It belonged to his estate, but then they sold it, I believe.
It's now called Sycamore Valley Ranch, formerly Neverland Ranch or Neverland. And it is owned by somebody named Ronald Burkle. But yeah, Jackson left the property in 2005, shortly after his acquittal of non-child molestation charges, and never returned. He owned it until his death in 2009. After Jackson's death, the property was put up for sale in 2015 and 2020. After several price drops, billionaire Ronald Burkle purchased it for $22 million. Yeah, $22 billion. No thanks. But I mean, and apparently it doesn't look anything like it used to. I mean, he had that little amusement park there. It was like a little slice of Disney World, and
got to keep the children happy.
Yeah. So let me see if I Google search images for Sycamore Valley Ranch. Let's see what they.
I'll be right back. I'm gonna go Geloja and grab a beer.
When I heard that term, I had no fucking idea what it was. Geologian.
Oh, Geloja? Yeah, it's from Oroville. It just means to take a piss.
So instead of taking a piss, we just Georgia. Makes it sound a little bit better.
I'm just going
No,
to take a
come on.
tinkle.
It's a once a year piss. It's not every
It's the
day.
once a year.
Neverland Ranch is a nice theater in it. My goodness. Or Sycamore Valley Ranch has a nice theater. It's like it's got 1, 2, 3, 4 rows of seats, and it looks like a combination movie theater and performance theater.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I was also looking up. Paul McCartney now does have this Beatle catalog back. Sony got it after Jackson died, and then McCartney started suing them and stuff, and they finally gave it back to him. Estimated worth is $1 billion.
Yeah.
Suing them for what?
Well, apparently, half of it was owned by ATV, the other half was owned by Jackson. Jackson sold Sony. Sony then negotiated to get the other half, but there was supposed to be some sort of a deal that since these, under the law, the rights of songs published before 1978 can be given back to the songwriter after 56 years. So McCartney went for the lawsuit to get him back that way, and Sony ATV eventually agreed in a private settlement and gave the music rights back to him.
Oh, okay.
But not all of the Beatles songs were included in the catalog. Because like the song Penny Lane, the music owner there at the time gifted that song to his daughter. So she actually owns the rights to Penny Lane.
Oh.
I wish I could say I know a lot of Beatles songs, but I don't.
Oh, but okay. Anyway, all those, I think all those songs are divided up between him and Yoko now, aren't they? Or
The article I found just states that he owns all the Beatles rights right now.
No, but
So
most of them are Lennon McCarthy.
Most of them are, and then there are some that are Harrison songs that should have went to the Harrison estate too.
Uh-huh.
I wonder how that works exactly, because didn't different artists write different songs for the Beatles?
No, but the Beatles wrote songs for different artists, because the song Come and Get It, that was Badfinger's big popular, was written by McCartney, and McCartney gave them that song. There was also other songs that were written by McCartney and Lennon that were given to multiple artists.
So was McCartney and John Lennon the main songwriters?
They were the main. After the first album, well, actually the first couple albums, most of the songs there were just songs that they got from other artists. Then they started in to where that pretty much the majority of all their songs that they put out on artists were theirs.
Mm-hmm.
It was either Lennon and McCartney or Harrison. Because Harrison usually got to have 2 songs per album. Ringo got 1 song per album, and the rest were Lennon and McCartney's.
Oh, okay. Now I didn't know that about Ringo.
Ringo got to sing
enough,
1 song per album.
Strangely enough, when I was in music class, this wasn't an actual class for singing or playing. It was just learning about music, and one of our segments was actually the Beatles. And it's funny, I can still remember the damn original the original 4 Beatles. Because Ringo and George Harrison were not original members.
George is considered an original member. Ringo is not. It used to be when they were the Quarrymen, there were 5 men.
Well, it used to be, if I'm not mistaken, it was John Lennon, Paul McCartney, Stuart Sutcliffe, who died, and Pete Best, who was fired.
And George Harrison was also a member at that time. There
Well,
was
that I did
5.
not know.
There was 5 at the time. Then it got trimmed down to 4 because Stu left to go pursue his artistic side, and then ended up dying.
Yeah,
Pete
he died
Best
of head
was,
trauma, right, from a bar fight or something.
I think it was a brain aneurysm.
And then there's Cliff. You guys are forgetting about Clarence Walker, the saxophone player that was the 5th Beatle.
Well, technically, the unofficial 5th Beatle was piano player. Billy Preston. Billy Preston was pretty much playing piano on all the late albums. He was known as the unofficial 5th Beatle.
Oh.
Clarence Walker, man. You can't leave him out. Nobody gets that reference, huh? Okay.
I'm trying to think.
Eddie Murphy on Saturday Night Live, he played a character named Clarence Walker who claimed to be the 5th Beatle, and he played a saxophone. And he just added a saxophone track to all the Beatles sounds to make it sound like he was there in the recording studio with him. It was a
Okay, well, see, I don't remember.
scammer.
I don't remember that one. I do know that Billy Preston was considered the 5th Beatle.
Yeah. He even had a picture.
I must have
Yeah.
stopped watching SNL by then.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
Eddie Murphy and Joe Piscopo. I mean, that was early 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Remember
that
the skit
was.
that he dressed as a white guy?
Yeah, what the hell was his name when he was doing that? Shit, I don't remember now.
No,
I'm
they
still
I don't
danced
remember
like
much of
Wonder
Saturday
Woman.
Night.
I'm still surprised SNL is even on the air. I mean, I cannot believe they even have near the ratings they used to have back in the day. And I'm talking, if I looked up their ratings now compared to what they had in the 70s and 80s, it would probably be like massively different. But I mean, you had guys like Chevy Chase, the Belushis, you had Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd. I mean, one of the best skits is Richard Pryor in Chevy Chase when Richard Pryor's going in for a janitor interview. There's no way in fuck they'd ever pull a skit like that now.
Landshark. That was kind of a lame skit.
No, but it might have been lame, but they played it for all it was worth over how many episodes?
Yeah, you got to remember the status of comedy back then. I mean, you want to see what general comedy was like. You go watch a show called Laugh-In. It wasn't funny, but it didn't stand it at all.
Hey, Darren, say goodnight.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah,
how
but
they
we
ended
did
the
at
show.
least get the
Say
Blues
goodnight, Dick.
Brothers.
Goodnight, Dick.
We got the Blues Brothers from Saturday Night Live, so that was a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just glad the Killer Bees didn't push through as good as the Blues Brothers.
Or Darren, hey, how about the Fickle Finger Faye?
Yeah.
Comedy
Or
was
seen. Yeah.
comedy was just fun back then, you know.
Yeah.
SCT.
What do you say to a naked lady? You know, candid camera. Yeah.
I used to love watching. I used to watch Laugh-In on Nick at Night. Back in the day, because
The
I
only
loved
the only good thing about Laugh-In was Goldie Hawn.
Yeah, very young Goldie Hawn.
She did not age gracefully.
No, that's fine though. Neither did her husband.
They're not married.
Well, her partner. What do you want to call her? Call him.
Well, at least he stopped making Snake Plissken movies.
Yeah.
I can't see him.
Wait a
trying to
minute.
pull off-
What are you talking about? Movies. There's only one Escape from New York.
There's Escape from L.A.
He said Snake Plissken movies.
Escape from L.A. too is Snake Plissken.
Eh,
And then there was that half-ass attempt called Soldier. You know, I mean,
Well, that was different. That was, and I actually think that Kurt Russell did a pretty good job in that movie because he wasn't, and he says all of maybe 10 words in the whole film.
did you say that many?
Maybe.
thought,
I mean,
I actually thought Soldier was a decent movie,
Yeah.
except for the guy who played Captain Dipshit on Discovery was in it and acting like a dumbass. But
well, he
I
was
like
supposed
Gary
to act like a
Busey.
dumbass.
Yeah, I did like Gary Busey in it. I overall enjoyed the movie, and John Pertwee was in it, and that was pretty good. I enjoyed the
Daughter
movie.
John.
But Busey was an asshole in that movie. Always had a story about his this and that, you know, and every time he told one of those stories, the situation got worse.
Yeah, well, you weren't supposed to like those guys at all.
I think we can agree, though, Kurt Russell was good in Stargate.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Richard D. Anderson was better.
Granted, yes.
I'm just going to throw that out there.
I like his Wyatt Earp. I like his Wyatt Earp better than Kevin Costner's.
Oh God, I think that is almost universally accepted that Tombstone is better than Wyatt Earp. Now I don't dislike Wyatt Earp, but it's too fucking long.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Tombstone was great.
I don't care about all that. Tombstone was a tight story with a great cast, and what's his name? Who played Doc Holliday just fucking owned it.
But you have to definitely look at the total difference between Wyatt Earp and Tombstone. Tombstone was just what it was: backlot, nice, quick, violent a western as you could make. Wyatt Earp, on the other hand, tried to tell the story of the man.
Right.
You know, kind of separate some myth from legend. What you get in Tombstone, that is total mythology. That is not how it happened. That is not what happened. Okay, that's Wyatt Earp as an old man telling people his side of the story. Okay, now remember, all the Clantons are dead, so you don't know where they're. You really don't know their side of this deal.
Well, I will say this: when it comes to Tombstone, I will take the quote from one of the last things from the man who shot Liberty Valance. When the legend becomes truth, print the legend.
Yeah. Yeah.
And actually, it's funny. I only saw that movie a few years ago for the first time. I was looking at John Wayne movies, and I was like, okay, what John Wayne movies haven't I seen that are really good? And The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance was one of them. And I actually sat down and watched it with my father when we were still getting along. And he had, of course, seen it before. I had never seen it. And it was interesting because they actually did it in black and white on purpose. They could have done color, but they chose not to. Sorry, I'm a Clint Eastwood fan. What do you expect? I grew up on Clint Eastwood and John Wayne. I grew up on Men.
You haven't grown up.
Uh-oh.
I knew that. I had a feeling that was coming. Hey, at least I grew up on Real Men.
Men, manly
We're
men.
men, merely men. We're men in tights.
And be geeks. I'm a lumberjack and I'm okay.
I think actually thinking about it, Robin Hood Prince's Things, I think was the first time I ever saw Dave Chappelle.
He was in Prince of Thieves or Men in Tights.
Men in Tights.
Men in Tights.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a Chew, son of a sneeze. He was an exchange student in the UK. I am a sneeze. My son is a Chew. Bless you. No. A Chew is his name. He's in your country. He's an exchange student.
Smart brother, am I gonna die? Yeah. That's my favorite David Chappelle line in a movie.
I gotta get going. Talk to you
All
guys
right,
later.
Bird. What time are you streaming today, Bird?
About 4.
Okay. I'll be off long before then.
No biggie.
I'm not going
buddy-
4 hours today. Hell no.
I think my buddy the
Okay.
ambassador was doing 2 streams today. I might catch the 4:30, but I don't know if I'll be up for the 8:30.
And Kronos says, thanks for the warning, Bird. Now Kronos won't be late to Bird's stream.
Well, we got to have the best troll on the internet.
Even though he's not really a troll. He just claims to be one.
I know. That's what makes him so great. Hey, Mr. Lundell, you ever pull one of those guitars off every now and again and just start playing a tune?
Oh, it's been a while. I'll probably have to tune them up before I do anything else to them.
I never learned how to play an instrument. That's actually one of those things I will say that I wish I had learned at least one instrument, but I just don't seem to have the musical talent for it.
I don't know. I've heard rumors that you know how to keep a beat.
Keep a what?
Beat.
Oh,
Well, you could always take voice lessons. You know that you don't have to buy an instrument then.
Yeah, you'd be a singer.
You could be a baritone.
no,
Get someone to kick you in the balls so you can be a soprano.
trust me. the
I'll
world's
volunteer.
The world's greatest voice coach wouldn't be able to get my voice to a singing range that anybody would want to hear.
Besides, you've got plenty of instruments there at the house that you could just go grab a couple of spoons. Learn to play the spoons.
Oh, sure. Be like Sylvester McCoy from Doctor Who.
Yeah.
You could
It
sound
wasn't
like
me.
Dr. John. You know, must have been the right place but the wrong time. You know, that's how I imagine MB Geek would sing if he could sing.
Yeah, my singing is worse than Sexual Chocolate's Randy Watson.
Hey, if Bob Dylan can sing, you could sing. All,
Yeah, there was
you
still
hear
some
from Bob
talent
Dylan
there.
is all you
I
hear
saw
from Bob
something so
Dylan is.
Now, what I thought was so goddamn
That was pretty good. I was cracking up.
Actually, what I thought was so goddamn funny is I saw a meme where somebody said Sexual Chocolate has taken their stuff off of Spotify, and people are literally like, stop telling people this. They think it's real. I'm like, then they're fucking stupid.
Yeah, you
I'm like,
think
I
that
watched the guy. I mean, I watched the guy actually put up one that said Steel Dragon was taking their music off of Spotify, and I started laughing.
yeah, Spinal Tap too.
Yeah.
But
then,
well, that's music.
Well, no, Steel Dragon is a fake band from the movie Rockstar with Mark Wahlberg. I went ahead and had fun with it, and I put up, hey, Wild Stallions is taking their music off of Spotify.
I think
So
Bob Dylan sounded like
you're
that in kindergarten.
responsible for that one, the Wild Stallions meme, because I've been seeing it.
I was one of them. I don't know if I'm the only one. I don't know. I doubt I was the first one to come up with that, but everybody was having fun with it. And I was like, fuck it. I saw the Steel Dragons one. I was like, I'm going Wild Stallions.
Yeah, I don't understand how Bob Dylan has a career, but
as a songwriter,
could have been
as a
worse.
songwriter, right? Yeah,
Could have been WWF superstars take their music off of Spotify. Gene Okerlund's no longer there.
Yeah,
Nikolai Volkov is no longer there.
Land of a Thousand Dances pulled from Spotify.
for the most part, I don't think people give a shit.
No, people don't. People don't.
Especially,
I'm gonna be honest, I don't think most people do. I like I said, the most people who listen to probably Spotify, the vast majority, are probably my daughter's age, the millennial age, and they may not like Joe Rogan, and they may not agree with what he says, but they're not going to cancel Spotify.
And B, didn't you say you had to take a leak and go get a beer about 10 minutes ago? You haven't left yet, have you?
Oh, I left.
What'd you do? Piss your pants?
Oh no!
I went
outside and took a piss in the snow while I was grabbing the beer.
Oh.
Now he's got a funnel and a hose underneath the desk. He just goes.
Gotcha.
Yes, Nickelback has threatened to release more music on Spotify.
I
don't know why Nickelback gets such hate.
Those poor guys. I don't know what they did. I mean, I never heard a Nickelback song, I don't think. But
I don't mind Nickelback. They ain't that bad.
No, they're not.
I've actually seen Nickelback in concert and quite enjoyed it and thought they were great. I really don't understand the dislike, but I don't choose what people enjoy in music. That's not my place.
yeah, you were right about Bob Dylan, though. You think he sounded like that in kindergarten?
I think so.
Do you think he said things like, "He took my glue"?
How does he feel?
And my crayon too. Bobby sound okay.
My chocolate milk tastes a little honey. Teacher, help.
Could you imagine if Ozzy Osbourne sounded like he does in school? Yeah, teacher, that's the subject is there, the predicate. What? The subject is there, the predicate is there. All aboard!
And I'm probably going to get shot for this, but during the Travel and Wilbur years, it was kind of hard to tell which one. You could if you were really good at music, but sometimes you got confused if it was Bob Dylan or Tom Petty.
Yeah.
Neil Young is probably the most aggravating voice.
Well,
I don't even know anything by Neil Young.
It should just do a YouTube search. Some of his crap's up there. It's got to be.
he had an anti-Bush song that came out when I was in high school. "Rockin' in the Free World," I think is what it was, and that's the only song I ever really know from him.
Well, some of us remember back when he was with Crosby, Stills, and Nash, but
Didn't he get fired from that band?
No, they just broke up. They never could get along any damn way.
Well, I knew Crosby, Stills, and Nash, but I don't remember Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young, so they must have kicked him out first.
it was originally Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young.
Yeah.
I've heard of Crosby, Stills, and Nash, but yeah, I didn't know Young was part of it.
Yeah.
Nah, I'll be honest with you. You know, some people are trying to say I don't agree with cancel culture, so I don't agree with what ABC's doing to Whoopi. I fucking 100% support it because still people like her and her ilk are actually the ones canceled for their shit.
Yeah.
And then they want to bitch about it. But yet, I guarantee you she's on board with getting Joe Rogan kicked off of Spotify.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, Mika Brzezinski now says that, this kind of culture has gone too far. Oh, now it's gone too far. Okay. It's like...
Oh, God. Brzezinski. Oh, God. I cannot stand. I don't know who's more annoying, her or her husband.
I'd rather look at her.
I wouldn't.
No.
Look at her. She's
I turn the
not-
sound
no,
off, but I I'll look at her.
I'd rather look at Frosk.
No.
I'd rather look at Minka
No.
Brzezinski.
Yeah, I'd rather look at Mika than I would Frosk.
Nah, sorry, I've heard too much of Nika to be like I would.
Well, you don't.
discuss-
I didn't say anything about hearing her speak. I just said
got
looking at her.
Okay, looking at her. Unfortunately, I know too much about her views to be able to just look at her and just look at her face. I can't separate the two.
Right. But yeah.
Although her husband
Actually-
is slightly, cancel culture's gone too far. Oh, it's gone too far because now they're coming after your asses.
Actually,
Well-
I was semi wrong.
What?
It was originally Crosby, Stills, and Nash. Then they brought Young in for a few years. Then he left. Then he came back, and then he left again.
Fickle fucker, huh? Mhm.
Yeah, that's right. It was like around the time of MTV. He came around. He came back, and then
Yeah,
left
because
again.
it was originally Crosby left the Byrds, Stills band Buffalo Springfield had broke up, and Nash left
Yeah.
the Hollies.
Yeah,
And they
yeah.
formed their trio. And then Neil Young came in. So I was real wrong on that one, but there.
I don't know why, but for some reason, the song from the band Up on Cripple Creek just popped in my head.
Yeah.
Old hippie shit. You know.
Mhm.
Hey, weren't these hippies the ones who were protesting against the government and now they're bitching?
That's because their left is part of the establishment now. They were
Yeah.
never actually against the establishment as a thing. They were just for their side. Once they got in place, they shut the free speech door right behind them.
Yeah, that's
Oh, so they're posers, basically.
Mhm.
Well, it's like Madonna talking her shit sometimes. It's like, do you remember how controversial your shit was on the MTV Video Awards when you first did that, like a virgin, and how controversial it was? But yet now you want to bitch about
Mhm.
controversial shit? Give me
Yeah.
a fucking break, you goddamn hypocrite.
Hell, it's like Cassandra Peterson. People tried to cancel her with her
Yeah.
Elvira because she was too skimpy looking and shit.
Yeah.
And now she's all about canceling people.
Oh yeah.
Well,
lady.
interestingly enough, I found out the woman who plays Elvira slowly over time acquired all the rights to the character.
Yeah. Smart gal.
yeah. And now she's
Yeah,
just
what was she famous for doing as Elvira? Was it the
She had her
movie
own
Macabre. It was the movie
Yeah.
Macabre.
okay?
Totally.
Yeah, she was a host, just like Vampira and Zachary and Commander USA.
The only good
Yeah,
horror host was
that's right.
Sven
USA
Gulli.
Up All Night.
Sven Gulli was the only good one.
He's still the only decent one.
Well, he's the
Hey,
second
I like
Sven
Commander
Gulli.
USA. Hey, I liked Commander USA's groovy movies.
There was
Maybe
originally
not the
Sven
movie,
Gulli,
but at least Commander USA.
then it was son of Sven Gulli, and then Rich just dropped the son up and went with Sven Gulli again.
So here's a question for you guys. Growing up, music videos, what music video do you recall really stood out for you? Like just the song and the music went together.
Eat it.
Well, there were so many different kinds of videos back in the 80s.
Straight out of Compton.
regular performance videos, and then you had ones that tried to tell a story. One of the common ones was the idea of the fan of the band who doesn't get to go to the concert, but then falls asleep and dreams that he's there and gets to go backstage, and then he or she wakes up and there's like an artifact from the dream on their pillow. So was it real or wasn't it? There was at least a dozen videos that I remember as a kid that were like that. They were usually from bands that nobody liked, like Winger and Dokken and things like that. But
probably that Aha video.
Yeah, that was not bad. The rotoscoped one, yeah.
I don't know. Hot for Teacher was pretty good too, though.
Well, yeah.
The one that really stood out to me in the 90s was Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers' Mary Jane's Last Dance.
Huh.
I don't know why, but something stuck out to me about that song and the video that I still enjoy. Still haven't figured out what it is, but it's there. Maybe it's just because it had Kim Basinger in it.
Chris Isaac's Wicked Game was a fun one, if you like that chick. But then he kind of ruined his own video in an interview afterwards. He talked about what a terrible, terrible time they had filming it and how the woman he was like getting all close with in the video. I just hated him. And it's like, well, thanks for ruining the fantasy of your own thingy.
And then there was the White Snake video with Tawny Kitaen.
Yep.
Watching her grind a sports car.
Yeah.
I used to.
This time I thought she was buffing it.
Yeah, I had an ex-girlfriend who her Facebook picture I noticed some years later was literally her on the car like doing Whitesnake. I was just like, damn, why weren't you like that when we were dating?
No, I remember the first time anybody ever saw Courtney what's her face Dancing in the Dark with Bruce Springsteen, where she jumps up on stage and dances with him. Courtney Cox, I think is her name. Yeah. I mean, that was her big break. From Friends, I think, was her big show. But she was in other things too. I guess one of the ones I always liked was Van Halen's original Jump video, because that was when MTV first came out in this area, that was heavy in the rotation. They played that thing once an hour.
Yeah. It's seriously.
Now, the video they played the hell out of was Home Sweet Home.
Yeah, I remember that.
Now I'll tell you I'll tell you the song they played to death that I wish they would just stop. Tom Petty's Free Fallin'. It's like the only goddamn song they ever played by Tom Petty, and I'm like, stop!
All right, MB, I'm going to give you a quiz. What movie did Tom Petty play a mayor in?
Actually, I don't know what Tom Petty played in. I actually do not know his filmography.
The Postman.
It was a Kevin Costner movie.
Yeah, it was The Postman.
Oh, he was in the... Damn, I don't remember that because I actually saw The Postman when it came out in theater. But
remember that scene when they were at the dam and they come up through that elevator and Tom Petty's standing right there and Costner looks at him and says, "You used to be famous."
Oh, okay. Now I know what you're talking about.
Almost like he was playing himself.
I've seen that movie.
Yeah.
I've only seen
I still love the fact that they tried to use the name Richard Starkey as president. Because anybody that knows that's Ringo's name.
What I like was, he asked the kid what his name is, and Ford, Lincoln, Mercury.
Yes, I remember that. Postman, Ford, Lincoln, Mercury.
See ya, pop culture.
I've only seen that movie once. I think I saw it in theater, and I don't think I ever saw it again.
Well, it's so damn long,
Yeah, that's one of Oscar's most underrated films because I thought it was a pretty damn good movie.
I did too.
Yeah, he likes to make
Then
those
again,
long movies.
Yeah, but
Then
there was-
again, my grandmother took me to see Waterworld, and we both, quite frankly, enjoyed it.
Yeah.
But what are you gonna do?
Waterworld, a lot of people went to see it because it was a famous movie before it ever came out because of all the money that it lost trying to build all those sets out there in the open ocean.
Well, it was actually the amount of money they used just to make it.
Yeah.
And
But, it was constantly delayed because the weather would destroy the set, the flotilla and everything. It's yeah.
I would agree with Cronus. Waterworld over Postman, I would say, is better. Actually, I'm going to be honest. I thought they were both better than Dances with
You
Wolves, but that's
you
just
stop
me.
telling us you're going to be honest. We know you're going to be honest. Tell us.
Yeah, you got a good point, Darren.
Sorry, I don't believe you. I don't believe him at all.
To be honest, Field of Dreams was better.
That movie, every adult member of my family hated that movie. They talked about how terrible it was. That didn't make any sense. And it's like you were watching a fantasy film. There was one of those examples where, okay, so a lot of my dad's side of the family come from rural Minnesota. They're not quite rednecks, but pretty darn close. Okay, and if they got to know what kind of movie they're going into before they watch it, otherwise they won't enjoy it. And they can't switch gears once they figure out what the movie is. So, he's like, they couldn't stand the fact that they didn't explain where all those baseball players went when they went into the cornfield. And I'm like, did you ever watch the show Twilight Zone? That's what this is. And they're
it's
like,
a fantasy film.
And they said, it didn't say Twilight Zone. It said Field of Dreams. That's the kind of intelligence that I dealt with on my dad's side of the family.
They're basically ghosts that just came out of the cornfield to play one more time.
Well, I know that. But for some reason, they couldn't make the leap, And so they keep telling me, oh, yeah, it's the worst movie of the year. Terrible movie. I thought it was great. But, it just, yeah.
Shoeless Joe Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it's a very good movie, and it had a wonderful message in it.
Yeah.
And it also had oh shit! Now I'm drawing a blank. Why can't I remember his name?
It romanticized the '60s a little too much for my taste, but that was the whole generation squeeze was about back then. So
no, I actually like what the wife said. She's like, I experienced. The lady says, I experienced '60s. No, I think you went through two '60s and went straight to the '80s.
Two 50s. She said you had two 50s in a row. Is what she told him.
Yeah, you went through two 50s and went straight to the 80s. You're right.
Look, the 60s wasn't all that great, but they romanticize it. It's just yeah, I don't care for that shit.
My parents were both kids in the 60s. They were born in the 60s. They're boomers.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, the early baby boomers, like my parents were, my dad graduated in '66, so he was out of high school before all that counterculture shit really hit the fan. So, but they're very different, the two sides of that generation. And everybody seems to hear '60s, they think of the flower power shit. And all you got to do is watch the first season of Mad Men, to figure out how the '60s started.
I still haven't seen Mad Men. It really didn't look that appealing to me. But I could be wrong.
Wagner recommends, but it is about advertising. It's not an action show; it's a drama. So, but what I like about it is when they blatantly show you how attitudes were different back then. Like, for example, in season 1, a guy returns a wedding gift. On his lunch break, he goes to a department store, returns a wedding gift that he got. He got like two of some the same things, so he decided to, trade it in and get a gun, a rifle, 22 caliber rifle. He brings it to work with him, and he's pointing it at people, and everybody's laughing and having a good time. You could not do that today, obviously.
I'd have lost my shit if I saw someone do that. I saw that in the trial of Kyle Rittenhouse with the fucking prosecutor, and I was like, "You dumb son of a bitch."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he had his hand and he had his finger on the trigger. Sorry, I'm a big gun guy. I love guns. I love shooting, but I also know gun safety very well.
Yeah.
Or for example, you know, the mom will let the daughter play with the dry cleaning bag that her dry cleaning comes in.
Why?
Well, because it's like it's clear plastic. It's fun, right? And this is before they had to start putting warning labels on clear plastic bags. And you know, she wasn't worried about kids suffocating back then. Or you know, obviously everybody on Mad Men smokes, and there was you know the first season starts with people starting to actually believe the idea that cigarettes might be bad for you, you know, and it's just the whole attitude is different. I mean, they show people like if we all worked in the office, I'd go over to Deej's office, and it'd be customary, you know, if we're going to have a little meeting, that I'd pour myself a little drink with this little bar that he'd have in his office, and then if he came over to mine, he'd help himself to my alcohol as well. It was a customary office thing, and so some people would be buzzing by 5 o'clock in the evening, you know, and then they go out for drinks after work, you know, so they'd be drinking all day. It was just, you know, and that was the way it was, and it worked.
Hey,
So
Gaskar, I got a little Canadian news.
What's that?
Alberta's premier announces an end of all restrictions beginning with the Vax Pass next week.
Yep. Exactly.
Did the convoy actually have an effect?
Oh, the mainstream media is going to say no. But we just got Sweden that's, as of next week, also is going to eradicate all restrictions countrywide. So what is that saying to the rest of the world, right? What's our excuse for not doing the same?
Right.
You know, the excuse is that Canada is the number one country that has bought so many freaking vaccinations from Pfizer.
Yeah.
That's where the proof
excuse
is.
that your politicians get to say they care about more their citizens more than those other countries.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's only a matter of time. I mean, here in Quebec, our premier, stopped this whole thing that he wanted to tax the unvaxxed. He scrapped it. He goes, "Oh,
Yeah,
I had to do it
about that. I thought
I had
that
to.
was-
Yeah. He was saying I
didn't
had to
even
do
know
it
if that
because
was
it was
true or
creating too
not.
much division. No shit's creating more division. What a dumb.
Well,
He's
I
a
was
dumbass.
like, wait a minute. They're really considering this in Canada? I mean, let's be honest. Most of
It's
us,
Quebec.
especially in America,
Let's not be honest.
when we
Shut
think of
up.
Canadians, we think of very, friendly people. We don't think of, people really, I don't know the right word to use for it. Aggressive, I guess is the word I would use. But y'all managed to stand up for yourselves, and I applaud you all for that.
We usually do stand up for ourselves. Well, actually, hold on. No, we don't. It looks like we do, but it's like a passive aggressive type thing. But this time, it's just that when you have countries that are removing all restrictions, and here we're just creating more. We're enforcing more lockdowns and more stores going closed down, especially here in Quebec, man. The day before New Year's Eve, they closed everything down. Restaurants down, curfew imposed. How much money did restaurants lose, with all the reservations they had for New Year's Eve? They don't care. They had no idea what they were doing. And now they're seeing that the facts are out there, that the scientific proof is out there. It's one thing they were saying in one of the press conferences here. How are you going to get the equivalent of a person who's had COVID-19, which scientists says is the equivalent of one vaccination shot? How are you going to prove that on the vaccination passport? And his answer was, well, we're going to have to figure out a way. How? Right? And that means everybody that's had it has to come out and say, oh, I've had it, and get themselves tested for it. It's a bunch. It's, you know what? They had no idea when all this started. No one knew anything. So we believed in the government in order to guide us and help us. they did what was right. I believe they did what was right. I'm not disagreeing with that. But when it comes to, oh, you got to get a booster shot. How much protection is that booster shot giving you? Oh, it's good for 6 months. So what? After 6 months, we're going to have to get another one and another one and another one? Something doesn't make sense, right?
Okay. Yeah.
I haven't had a flu shot in 5 years.
Yeah, the thing that gets me is that Canada, of course, is what we're told is the model for what we should have for a healthcare system, with their universal healthcare. And of course, Canada's population is way smaller than the United States.
Oh yeah,
and if they're having problems with this whole vaccination thing, what makes you think we wouldn't? I mean,
it's not a perfect healthcare system. It is not. It definitely is not. But I have to say, from conferences that I've gone to, right? I may have spoken about this before. I was at a conference in the States, and the gentleman that was next to me, he got a phone call. I saw he was distraught, and I'm like, "Are you okay?" And he goes, "Yeah, I'm all right." And just like that, he was just telling me that his wife was undergoing therapy for stage 4 colon cancer. And at that time, my mother-in-law was fighting for that. For 8 years, she fought stage 4 colon cancer. So this was her 6th year. And I go, "Oh, really? I'm going through that with my mother-in-law." She says, "Oh, how much is the medication costing you, the treatments?" I'm like, "Not 1 cent. Mm-hmm. He had to mortgage his house twice because his health care from his work will no longer cover him.
Right.
Because it over exceeded the cost of his treatment." Mm-hmm. When it comes to things like that, that's where I say, thank God bless our healthcare, because it's
but then you've got the flip side of that. You've got the flip side of that, and that is that Cleveland, Ohio, is the Canadian hip replacement capital of the world.
Right.
Where we've got all kinds of people who need a hip replacement. They're put on a
waiting
list, and they're in all kinds of pain when they can just come to Cleveland, pay cash in hand, and okay, we'll see you Tuesday.
Absolutely.
It's one day surgery, and not the whole day, obviously. And then the next day they learn how to walk on crutches, and then they're gone.
Yeah, absolutely. But you know what? This helps. It helps the people that are living in poverty here, right? Yeah, they can just walk into a clinic and do it and not worry about a damn thing.
Yeah. Americans would abuse that
we can do
so
the same
much.
thing in America, going to New York. One of the things, though, is I've been stating this whenever I hear people talk about, well, we want universal health care. We're a country of 50 states, about 8+ territories. Any one of these states, and the thing is, in our Constitution, it mentions nothing about the federal government providing health care. But per the 10th Amendment, any of these states, if they wanted to, could implement a state health care program. There's nothing stopping them from voting for that.
Yeah,
that's
Romney
why I
did
always
that.
What's that?
Romney did that and he proposed that.
Yeah, Romney did that with the state, and look how well that went.
Mm-hmm. But it was basically, essentially what Affordable Care Act was supposed to be. But the thing is, in this country, we were supposed to get you socialized medicine. That's why it was so important to the left that Hillary get elected. But when Hillary didn't get elected, and then Trump started dismantling portions of what was left of the Affordable Care Act, then we have this COVID thing. You can imagine what would happen if we had socialized medicine during this event here.
I mean, we got screwed with the guy before Trump. If you like your doctor, you can keep your doctor. If you like your plan, we can keep your plan. As soon as that shit was implemented, he was like, "Well, fuck y'all."
I went on to Mr. Lundell. After the Affordable Care Act website that took $2 million fucking dollars to create, I could create your website for a fraction of that cost, not even a percentage. I mean, it would be unreal. I could have done it back then. And I went in and I looked, even though I was in the military and I already had TRICARE, which is the military healthcare, which is what I still have. I can go to the VA if I want, but I pay for my TRICARE health insurance anyway because it's relatively cheap. It's $600 a year for the entire family. That's overall not bad. But I went and looked at the plans on the Obamacare website for my family. The bronze plan, I would have had a $25,000 deductible before the plan would even cover me. And that was $600. At $800, I would have gotten a $15,000 have to pay, and then they would cover it. The gold plan, I didn't qualify for platinum plans apparently. The gold plan was $2,500 a month, and I had no deductible. I'm like, I don't go to the fucking doctor this much to justify this kind of an expense. I mean, it was literally going to be the second biggest expense to my mortgage. It was just like, how is this affordable? And
It's
then
not.
you looked, and then you looked where these were available in your area, and you found these plans a lot of times weren't even available in your area.
Huh.
Yeah.
When
There's
you have
never going to be a perfect system.
No, there's not.
No,
there never is.
It's not supposed to be a perfect system. That's why you should let me, a grown ass man, pay for his own insurance. Okay. And okay, we have social nets. Okay, so if something really bad happens, people don't fall through the cracks. We've already had that in place. I don't need the government telling me what kind of insurance I need to pay for.
Oh, it's not like it's not like that here. But for example, here, if your company your company has to have an insurance plan for your employees, right? So when that happens, you no longer fall on the governmental plan. You have your insurance plan that covers you for certain things. Now you have the whole thing that you can go.
Even that should not be a requirement. That should be a deal I make between my company,
my employer.
Oh, okay,
right.
So you're saying you want complete total freedom and decide who you're with.
Yeah, I should be able to sit down with HR or whomever and cut out and
I get what you're saying,
deal. Okay,
I understand that.
I don't need a bureaucrat telling me what I got to pay for. Screw you.
One of the things Mr.
That.
Lundell I think is also hitting on is a lot of people got kicked off their insurance plans because of the Affordable Care Act. And then when they're like, well, wait a minute, why is my insurance? Oh, well, you had a shitty insurance policy. Who the hell are you to tell me I have a shitty insurance policy?
I knew people that were paying pennies for their prescriptions. Okay.
Yeah.
You know, real good healthcare plans, you know, through the jobs or just through, you know, private insurance companies. They were paying pennies, you know, to go see a doctor, pennies for their prescriptions or whatever. And the Affordable Care Act screwed them big time.
Oh, I knew people who lost. I knew a lot of private people I knew contractors in the military who their companies, which was a benefit of their company to have insurance, they had to pay more now. The company had to pay more now for an insurance because the insurance plan they had for them that was available to them was said, oh, this isn't good enough. Well, what the hell do you mean it's not good enough? It would be like me saying, why would I buy health insurance for myself personally if I'm a single man for going to have mammograms and pap smears and stuff like that? I'm not going to have those things. You know, I'm not going into those. Our healthcare system is actually not bad. I can go to an urgent. I don't have to go to the ER. I don't have to schedule an appointment with a doctor. I can go to an urgent care center and get seen and be out within an hour. Easy.
Yeah.
And
See, I like
it's covered by my insurance. or I may have to pay out of pocket a few bucks, but it's nothing major.
I liked it better when we actually didn't have a healthcare system. It was just up to the individual, and there were things that you could get, you know, and that was, to me, that was a better system when we had no system.
Well,
The problem is they had to jack all the prices up so they could sit there and then add in all these extras that they wanted to cover, like for people's abortions and their damn
Sexual reassignment
births
surgery.
or birth.
Well, I'll give you an example. Like
Preventatives.
my insurance, when it was active duty, I could have got LASIK because I wear glasses. I'm not wearing them now because they constantly glare on the screen. But I found that I was ineligible through my insurance because my eyesight wasn't as bad to warrant the insurance paying for it. So I had to have done it out of pocket. And I just decided after I went in and did the initial consultation and found out how much it was, I was like, is this going to be permanent? It might be good for 10 to 20 years. I'm like, yeah, no thanks. I'm not spending $10,000 on that. Or no, it wasn't 10,000. Sorry. I think it was 3,500 per eye.
Dang.
I would pay a little bit more for insurance if it was to help to control the LDG population and have your LDG spayed or neutered.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
I would pay a little bit more for that.
Yeah.
Just say his name 5 times and he'll pop up, okay?
He was already here a few minutes ago.
Well, the thing with insurance is what always scared me when it came to them mandating, you know, you have to have health insurance. As I said, well, where does that end? We need dental insurance. We need vision insurance. You know, and then people argue, well, you have to have insurance to drive a car. Yes, but I don't.
Not everybody drives a car.
You don't have to have a
I
car.
don't have to have a car.
Most people in New York know that. You know, it was
Exactly.
one of the most infuriating
If I don't have a
parts of that
car-
argument back when it was being discussed in popular circles was Obama's line about well, you have to have car insurance. It's like, yeah, but I don't have to have a car, you idiot. You know, you're trying
Yeah,
to.
if I don't have a car, I don't have to pay for. I don't have to pay.
You want us to have insurance for breathing.
Hell, I could drive
Well, like
somebody
I said,
else's
you know,
car.
what are
They're
they
the
gonna
ones that have to have the
mandate?
insurance.
Yeah.
Well, that's what
Uber.
I said. How far are you going to go? Are you going to mandate medical insurance, dental, vision, life insurance? I mean, are you going to mandate?
And of
Are
course-
you going to regulate all that shit?
And of
I
course,
mean, unfortunately,
once the government starts counting that as their income, just like when they were taxing cigarettes, right? They started that was factoring into their budgets, and you know, and all of a sudden people are quitting smoking. They're actually doing what you know, government regulators and health groups want them to do. All of a sudden, you know, all of a sudden they have a problem now because they're not getting the same kind of revenue, and then they got to go attack something else.
well, it cracks me up in America how I want to bitch about big oil, and it's like, how much fucking revenue do you get from everybody paying the taxes on paying at the pump? And I remember this because they were talking green energy. And then I remember Biden in some one of his bills, there was a pilot program where they were talking about maybe taxing people how far they fucking drive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I was like, well, no shit. Because if you get rid of, okay, say hypothetically, we in 15 years actually have a stable green energy transportation and a gasoline and diesel. Guess what? That's 50% of gas revenue. Those fuckers aren't getting it, and they're going to want that money.
You know, it's funny. I had an uncle who had to rent a car to drive from Arizona to Wisconsin, right? And he'd never done that before. And when he got home, about a week later, he gets 3 speeding tickets in the mail. He said, "What the fuck's this?" You know, here the GPS device in the rental car calculated the time between certain checkpoints, and mathematically, he had to have been speeding somewhere in in between those checkpoints. So each state gave him a speeding ticket, and he couldn't.
What?
Yeah, and he couldn't fight it, because it was all done with math. And
No. See,
I agree. I didn't agree with it either.
That's like Fifth Amendment, okay?
Yeah. But that's what they were doing, and he ended up paying it. But he said, no wonder Hertz went out of business.
I'm
We'll never rent a car again.
I'm a stubborn asshole. I would have fought that shit, every one of them.
Yeah.
I'd have spent more money.
Yeah.
I'd have spent more money going to each court case than paying the goddamn. It's like, just pay the fine. Nah, fuck you.
Yeah. Oh yeah. My dad was impressed with that too. He's like, because they of course come from the whole you gotta have a witness,
Yeah. Where's the cop?
Where's the cop?
Where's the cop with the radar that said I was speeding?
Yeah, exactly.
Or where's the picture? I'll give you an example. When I lived in Tampa, Florida, when I was at MacDill Air Force Base, there was a private road or a private highway that we could go on, and you had to pay. Now, you had two ways to pay it. One was get the pay pass, and it would automatically, you'd pay for this, and it would just keep going. Or you did like I did, since I didn't live over there, I just waited until the bill came in the mail with my license plate and the vehicle I was driving, which was obviously the van or the truck, and the license plate, like, hey, you got to pay these toll fees. I was like, yeah, okay, fine. Yeah, I know I was driving there. But that's some bullshit. It's like, oh, these 3 states. Well, which state was I speeding in? Well, we don't know. Well, then why the fuck do I need to pay you money?
It's kind of like them stupid traffic cameras. They take a picture, say, well, you ran a red light. They're so damn blurry. How can you tell who in the fuck was driving in the first place?
So that was the rental car company doing that?
Yeah, he rented the car. It had a GPS unit in it, and he went through a couple different states, and it was all done with math. Every time he had a checkpoint, a GPS checkpoint, they, like the interstate system. And he said, well, okay, if you had been traveling at the legal speed or less, you wouldn't have gotten to this checkpoint as quickly. So
all it takes is a tailwind. Okay, think about it. That's all it takes is a tailwind, or you draft behind a semi for a couple of miles.
Right.
You're not speeding.
Look, I'm not arguing with you. I mean, that's what they did, and he chose not to fight it. But he never rented a car again.
I don't blame him. That's bullshit.
Yeah, I agree.
Things people do to make extra money.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Well, I hate to cut the stream off, but I gotta go to the store. I don't want.
All right.
Damn it, man.
Better get your snowshoes on.
Yeah.
No, I shoveled everything all the way out to the truck, so I don't have to walk in any snow.
WandaVision.
I had my kid do it. The shoveling.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, I'm the only one that can do it around here and do it correctly.
Okay.
So I get it all the way down there. I just throw a bunch of salt on it and say melt the rest of shit.
How cold is it there?
Today it's 11 degrees right now.
Ooh,
That's not so bad.
Fahrenheit.
Yeah, that's not so bad.
But next week it's supposed to be up in the 40s, so that'll be good.
Yay.
I can get back into running around in my shorts and t-shirts.
Oh shit. Hard freeze wanted, so let me go drip some damn faucets.
Yeah. I used to have to deal with that shit all the time when I lived in the trailer. Let the water run on these cold nights, or you would have been froze.
Yeah.
Anybody got anything coming up though they want to promote before we get the hell out of here?
No, I'll see you.
I'll be
Darren
here. I'm stuck in the damn cabin,
Darren just
Darren
wanted
just
to get the
melt.
This shit, I'm out.
Darren just wanted to get the hell out of here before I played his song.
Oh, I see.
That's why he left.
Yeah, I'm gonna have my show that I do with this guy that I call Ryan. He's 36. It's my gamer buddy. Decided to do a show about more talk about what's going on politically and stuff like that. Some random conversation about streaming and video game streaming and cracking up stuff like that. So it should be around 9ish. I have to confirm the time, but it's gonna be today.
Okay.
Called Hold Up Wait.
And no, Mountains, Trudeau is not going to hire me to wave my nipples at truckers to scare them home. Jeez. They won't even allow me in Canada.
They don't?
Well, they probably wouldn't.
Why not?
Especially if they listen to some of my ranting, they wouldn't let me in.
Dude.
Might be afraid I'd come up to take over the country or something.
Not really. Not even
Invasion of the Pink Bunny. Anyway, it's been fun. Check back this weekend. I may be back this weekend for more streaming.
Awesome, man. Thank you for having me.
Anytime.
But always a blast, dude.
You know the deal, though. I'm getting fired.
That's it, Deej. You're fired.
Screw you! You're fired! Fire! You're fired! Fire! You're fired!
PJ Odyssey, how can I be fired? I'm not one of your wrenches, LOL. You're fired from talking to me.
And this is a Canadian firing me, people.
Go on, get the hell out of here.